The sky burned with violet streaks as the twin suns dipped behind jagged peaks of obsidian rock. A chilling wind swept through the jagged canyons of Dracta Prime, carrying the sharp scent of ozone and molten minerals. High above, the colossal green dragon emperor Orethian, perched on a cliff that scraped the heavens. His emerald scales shimmered with ancient power, reflecting the dying suns like liquid gemstones. Beneath him, chaos ruled. Alien predators, relics of a war older than the stars, prowled the crag valleys. Yet none of it drew his attention. His gaze was fixed on a human, a mere nurse, treading carefully through the treacherous terrain, her arms wrapped around a tiny, crippled dragon hatchling. The hatchling trembled violently, its wings malformed and incapable of flight. Its scales lacked the luster of its kin, and its eyes were dull with pain. The human's chest heaved as she navigated the jagged stones. Each step risked a fracture. Each misstep threatened the life she carried. Yet she did not falter. Orethian's massive eyes, ageless and piercing, narrowed. He had witnessed empires rise and fall. Countless species claw for survival, but never had he seen courage like this distilled into a single fragile form. The wind howled, throwing dust and sparks of bioluminescent fungi into the air. She stumbled, her hands trembling under the weight. Yet she rose again. The hatchling clutched her heart. The Emperor's wings flexed involuntarily, spanning 30 meters of raw power. The ground shook beneath him as he descended, his roar reverberating across the mountains, a sound that could crumble stone. Humans were fragile, weak, insignificant. Yet here was proof that weakness could mask a force the universe itself could not ignore. As she crested a ridge, an alien predator, a six-limbed monstrosity with eyes like molten silver, lunged from the shadows, jaws snapping. The nurse did not scream. Instead, she extended her hand, murmuring words the Emperor did not understand, yet somehow recognized the strength, defiance, and hope. The creature froze, hesitant, and then she struck with a device small enough to fit in her palm, yet powerful enough to sear through alien bone and armor. The hatchling whimpered but survived, cradled safely against her chest. Orethian landed behind her, massive claws carving deep gouges into the stone. "You risk your life for this fragile thing?" His voice thundered, yet it carried a strange reverence, a sound rarely given to mortals. "I risk everything," she said, sweat and blood streaked across her face. "Because life, even the smallest life, deserves a chance to fight, to grow, to rise." The Emperor studied her, his ancient mind unraveling thoughts that had never touched him before. The audacity, the brilliance, the sheer unpredictability of humanity. In that moment he knew this tiny species, incapable of flight, of scale, of natural weaponry, wielded something far deadlier than claws or fire. Will, courage, ingenuity, love. He leaned closer, inhaling the scent of her determination, a fragrance no alien toxin could replicate. "You carry the impossible," he said, eyes glowing brighter than his emerald scales. "I carry the future," she replied. For the first time in 10 millennia, Orethian bowed, not in submission, but in recognition of a force the universe had long underestimated. The hatchling stirred, sensing the power of the Emperor and the defiance of the human intertwined. The canyon seemed to fall silent, as though the universe paused to witness this improbable alliance. Orethian's voice, deep and resonant, broke the stillness. "Human, you will walk beside me. You will teach my brood the ways of your kind. You will change not just this world, but the balance of the cosmos itself." She blinked, overwhelmed by the magnitude of his words, yet her resolve did not waver. "I will, because you and your kind are not the only survivors here. Humanity has endured worse, and we will endure more. We adapt, we fight, we thrive, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves." The Emperor's wings unfurled fully, casting a shadow over the jagged valley. The ground quivered, alien predators shrieked and fled, sensing power far greater than mere flesh and bone. The human took a deep breath, feeling the weight of destiny settle upon her shoulders. She had no idea what lay ahead, rogue planets, sentient machines, ancient alien gods, but she knew one thing: humanity would rise, and Orethian, the Green Dragon Emperor, would never be the same again. Somewhere deep within the universe, stars shifted, fates entwined, and a bond formed that would ignite legends far beyond any galaxy. The twin suns finally sank beneath the jagged horizon, leaving the canyons of Dracta Prime bathed in a cold, silvery light. The human nurse adjusted the hatchling in her arms, feeling the fragile heartbeat against her chest. Orethian circled above, wings slicing to the twilight sky, his emerald scales glinting like molten gemstones in the dim light. "Human," he said, his voice echoing to the canyon walls. "The world you walk is dangerous, yet your species thrives amidst chaos. Tell me why." She swallowed, dirt and blood smeared across her face, and met his piercing gaze without fear. "Because we cannot rely on strength alone," she said. "We rely on cunning, on courage, on ingenuity. We rise when everything tells us we cannot. That is what makes us unstoppable." The Emperor considered her words, and in that silent moment, the canyon seemed to tremble, not from his weight, but from the sheer force of human resolve radiating from her. "You will teach my brood," he said finally, "and in return I will teach you the ways of dragonkind. Together we shall reshape the future." She nodded, feeling the weight of destiny settle on her shoulders like a physical presence. But the universe had other plans. From the shadows of the jagged cliffs, a deep rumble echoed. The ground beneath them shuddered violently, sending shards of obsidian rock skittering across the canyon floor. A massive alien warship, bristling with plasma cannons and energy spikes, descended from the sky, blotting out the stars with an immense hull. Orethian roared, a sound that reverberated through the valleys and set the human's hair on end. "This is no ordinary foe," he said, his ancient eyes narrowing. "They seek dominion over all life in this quadrant. They will not hesitate to exterminate your species, if given the chance." The nurse's jaw set. "Then we will show them why humanity survives." With a grace that defied the odds, she activated a small device strapped to her wrist. A holographic map projected above her hand, highlighting weak points in the alien vessel. Orethian's eyes widened. Humans were fragile, yet their minds had pierced through impossibilities with astonishing precision. "We strike together," she said. "You provide the power. I provide the plan." The hatchling whimpered, sensing the tension, yet she held it tightly. Orethian lowered his massive body, his claws digging into the canyon walls, sending showers of rock into the void. His wings flexed, and the air around him ignited with the raw energy of an ancient being. The human raised her device, fingers dancing over the controls with precision and speed. She coordinated drones, plasma turrets, and remote explosives, turning the canyon into a deadly maze for the alien invaders. The first wave of alien troops descended, sleek and merciless, their limbs snapping and claws extended. The nurse moved with astonishing agility, directing her devices to target weak points in their armor. Each blast was calculated, each strike deliberate. Orethian unleashed a torrent of emerald fire, reducing the first wave of attackers to molten slag. Yet the battle had only begun. The alien warship hovered above, unleashing beams of energy that carved through stone and rock alike. The human ducked behind a jagged boulder, shielding the hatchling, her mind racing. "We cannot fight them head-on," she muttered, "but we can outthink them." Using the ship's own sensors against it, she hacked into its navigational array, feeding false coordinates. The vessel veered sharply, colliding with a cliffside, sending fragments of alien metal raining down like deadly hail. Orethian roared in approval. "Impressive. Your mind is as sharp as your courage." But the alien commanders were relentless. From the wreckage, a hulking figure emerged, twice the size of Orethian himself, armored in black crystalline scales, eyes glowing with lethal intelligence. "You face extinction," it hissed, voice metallic and echoing with malice. "Your species is irrelevant." The human straightened, holding the hatchling firmly. "You underestimate us," she said. "Humans adapt. Humans fight. Humans endure." The alien lunged with blinding speed, but she triggered a device that emitted a gravitational pulse, sending it crashing into the canyon floor. Orethian seized a moment, sweeping down with massive wingbeat, fire and claws combining to rip to the alien's defenses. Yet even as the enemy fell, she realized this battle was only a prelude. The warship's central core began to glow, an ominous light that threatened to engulf the entire canyon in a cataclysmic blast. "We need to stop it before it annihilates everything," she shouted. Orethian nodded. "Then we ascend together." With the hatchling secured, she climbed onto the Emperor's back, her grip firm despite the fear coursing through her veins. The wind tore at them as they rose into the sky, dodging energy blasts and alien fire. The human activated her suit's thrusters, synchronizing perfectly with Orethian's wing beats, guiding them toward the ship's exposed core. Time seemed to stretch, each second a lifetime as they weaved through beams of energy, shards of alien metal, and torrents of plasma. Finally, they reached the core. The human's hands flew over her devices, inserting a destabilizing nanite array directly into the alien system. A warning siren blared across the ship. "You are fools," the alien commander hissed, "to challenge what is eternal." "Fools," she said, eyes blazing with determination. "No, we are humans. We survive the impossible." The core erupted in a storm of light and energy, sending shock waves across the canyon. Orethian roared, shielding the human, and Hatchling with his immense wings. When the light subsided, the alien warship was nothing but molten wreckage, scattered across the jagged cliffs like debris from a nightmare. The canyon was silent, save for the human's ragged breathing and the hatchling's soft whimpers. Orethian landed gracefully, talons digging into stone. He lowered his massive head to the human's level, emerald eyes gleaming with an emotion she had never thought a dragon capable of. Respect. "You have changed everything," he said. "Not just for your species, but for mine as well. The universe will remember this day." She looked down at the hatchling, now trembling less, emboldened by the presence of its protector. "This is only the beginning," she said. "Humanity will rise. We will face the darkness, the ancient powers, the impossible challenges, and we will endure." Orethian spread his wings, casting a massive shadow across the canyon. "Then we shall teach the universe the strength of humans together." And for the first time in millennia, the Emperor felt something entirely alien yet invigorating. Hope. Because hope, as fragile as it seemed, could ignite a force stronger than any fire, sharper than any claw, and faster than any alien warship. The human, the hatchling, and the green dragon Emperor ascended into the twilight sky, their bonds sealed by fire, courage, and the audacity of humanity. The stars above shimmered, as if witnessing the birth of legends yet to unfold. Orethian's roar pierced the night, announcing their defiance to the cosmos. And somewhere deep in the void, ancient eyes watched, recognizing that a new era had begun, one where humans, against all odds, could bend the universe to their indomitable will. The hatchling stretched its tiny wings, flapping uncertainly but with determination. "You will fly one day," the nurse whispered. "And when you do, the universe will tremble." The Emperor circled once more, massive wings cutting to the starlit sky, carried with him not just a human and a hatchling, but the promise of a future shaped by courage, ingenuity, and the strength of an underestimated species. The sky over Dracta Prime was a canvas of deep indigo, pierced by the pale light of distant stars. Orethian's massive wings beat against the thin, cold air, each flap sending currents that rattled the jagged cliffs below. The human nurse clutched the hatchling tighter, feeling its heartbeat slowly synchronize with the pulse of the colossal dragon beneath her. For a brief moment, the universe seemed to exhale, as if honoring the victory they had claimed. But Orethian's senses, honed over millennia, detected the faint hum of energy on the horizon, a resonance older than the warship they had just destroyed. "They are coming," he said, voice a low rumble that vibrated through the human's chest. "Not soldiers, not machines, something far older, far deadlier." She narrowed her eyes. "We will face them. Humanity always faces the impossible. That is what we do." Below them, the canyon quaked again. This time, it was not a warship, not alien troops, but the awakening of a creature whose legend had haunted the stars for eons. A figure emerged from the molten fissures, a titan of black and silver, scales glinting with an unnatural, spectral light. Its eyes burned like twin suns, and every movement sent tremors through the ground. The human felt a shiver run down her spine, but it was not fear. It was recognition. Humanity had faced extinction before and had survived. Ancient powers, Orethian muttered, his claws digging into the cliffside. Beings who remember the creation of galaxies. Their strength is unimaginable, yet he glanced at her, emerald eyes glowing. Yet humans are cunning, resourceful, dangerous in ways they cannot predict. The Titan lifted a claw, each fingertip as long as a ship's mast. It spoke, its voice resonating through the atmosphere like a chorus of collapsing stars. You defy the natural order, it said. Mortals should not hold dragons, should not meddle in powers that predate time itself. Step aside or be annihilated. The nurse's jaw tightened. We do not step aside. We survive. We fight. And we protect those who cannot protect themselves. The hatchling whimpered but nuzzled closer to her, its tiny wings trembling with determination. Orethian roared, a sound so potent that the ancient Titan flinched ever so slightly. Fire cascaded from his jaws, illuminating the battlefield with emerald brilliance. The nurse activated a device on her wrist, projecting a holographic map of the fissures below. She analyzed the patterns of energy pulsing from the Titan, tracing them to weak points in its spectral armor. You see, Orethian? She shouted over the roar of the wind and fire. Even the oldest beings have vulnerabilities. Even gods can bleed. The Emperor's wings flexed, slicing the air with precision. Then we strike as one. Together, they descended, weaving through the storm of wind and raw energy. The Titan lashed out, its claws carving massive trenches into the canyon floor. The human directed drones to distract the Titan, while simultaneously feeding calculated bursts of energy to Orethian's fire, amplifying it beyond natural limits. The hatchling clung to her, trembling, yet its tiny heartbeat resonated with strange courage. It was learning. It was growing. The Titan roared, a sound that split stone and rattled the heavens. It swiped at them, but the human anticipated its movements, guiding Orethian with pinpoint accuracy. Orethian's claws met the Titan's armor, sparks and fragments of ancient metal scattering like falling stars. The human's mind raced, piecing together a plan that no alien could foresee. Using the Titan's own energy field against it, she activated a series of resonance disruptors. The ground trembled violently, fissures spreading across the canyon. The Titan stumbled, its balance faltering for the first time in millennia. Orethian seized a moment, claws sinking deep into its spectral chest. Fire lanced through its scales, yet it roared, not in defeat, but in disbelief. How? It bellowed. How can mortals defy me? The nurse's voice rang out, steady and unwavering. Because we are humans, and humans never give up. The Titan fell, crashing into the canyon below, fissures swallowing its immense body. Dust and energy swirled, yet the nurse and Orethian emerged unscathed. The hatchling stirred, tiny wings quivering. Orethian lowered his massive head, allowing it to nuzzle against his snout. You see, the human said, voice soft yet resolute, strength is not always measured in size or age. It is measured in will and courage, in the refusal to be defeated. Orethian studied her, a rare gleam of emotion in his ancient eyes. You have taught me something I have not learned in 10 millennia, that even the smallest among us can change the fate of galaxies. The hatchling flapped its tiny wings, weak but determined, mirroring the human spirit. This is only the beginning, she said, eyes scanning the starlit horizon. There are threats we cannot yet see, challenges we cannot yet imagine, but we will face them. Humanity will endure, and we will rise stronger every time. Orethian extended his wings, lifting them higher, carrying the nurse and hatchling into the night sky. The stars shimmered, as if acknowledging the birth of a new alliance, one that would echo across the cosmos for millennia. Somewhere in the void, unseen eyes watched, ancient civilizations, long thought extinct, and alien empires preparing for war. They recognized a force they had never reckoned with. Humans. The nurse felt the weight of the universe pressing against her, yet she did not falter. Every challenge she had faced, every battle fought, every life saved had led to this moment. Orethian roared again, the sound carrying to the starlit heavens, a declaration to all who dared threaten life in this sector. Humans are not to be underestimated. They will endure. They will fight. They will conquer the impossible. And as the hatchling chirped, stretching wings that would one day soar across galaxies, she knew that this fragile, impossible life represented the unbreakable spirit of her entire species. The cosmos had shifted. The balance of power had tilted. Orethian's massive wings sliced through the cold air, carrying the human nurse and the hatchling higher into the stratosphere. The hatchling whimpered, wings weak but trying, and the nurse murmured reassurance. "Do not fear, little one," she whispered. "One day you will soar higher than even the stars themselves." Orethian roared, his voice echoing across the mountains like a living earthquake, a sound that resonated deep within the human chest. "Human," he said, his tone carrying awe, "you're kind, you thrive where others perish. You possess something older than dragons, older than civilizations. You wield courage like a blade, sharper than any claw." She looked down at the tiny hatchling, then back at the Emperor. "It is not just courage. It is willpower. Humanity does not bend. We do not surrender. We adapt, and when adaptation is impossible, we invent. We endure. That is why we survive." Orethian's emerald eyes glimmered. "Then together we are unstoppable." Below them, the landscape shifted violently. Mountains cracked as enormous fissures split the planet's surface, revealing veins of glowing energy that pulse like the lifeblood of the world. "It is not safe here," the nurse said, gripping the hatchling. Whatever forces stirred the Titan, they are not done. The energy here is alive. It watches. It tests. Suddenly, from the fissures, ghostly silhouettes emerged, ancient constructs that predated even the oldest dragons. They move with terrifying precision, weapons fused to their own bodies, eyes burning with cold calculation. "They are relics," Orethian growled. "Guardians of an era that should have ended eons ago. They judge all life unworthy." The humans smirked despite the danger. "Then they will learn what it means to face humanity." She activated a portable plasma generator strapped to her back. It hummed to life, projecting a shield around them and synchronizing with Orethian's natural aura. The constructs attacked with blinding speed, striking like bolts of pure energy. Each one was immense, their movements calculated. Yet the nurse anticipated every strike. "Left!" she shouted. "Now, fire!" Orethian unleashed torrents of emerald fire, striking the constructs with devastating precision. The human guided him, calling out commands, adjusting strategies, improvising as the battlefield shifted. The hatchling squirmed, but the human held it steady, whispering encouragement. "You are stronger than you think," she said softly. "Even you will rise above your limits." Orethian noticed something unusual. The constructs paused at the hatchling, their movements hesitant. Ancient instincts, perhaps? Recognition of a life force that carried the spark of defiance. The human seized a moment, deploying microdrones that drilled into the construct's weak points. Sparks flew as the ancient machines convulsed, systems overloading under precision assault. The nurse's voice rang out above the chaos. "Adapt, improvise, overcome. That is how we survive." Orethian felt an emotion he had never recognized. Pride. Not for himself, but for this human. For her brilliance, her audacity, her unwavering determination. Even the hatchling's tiny claws flexed instinctively, as if responding to the human's will. One construct, larger than the others, advanced with a speed that defied physics, its weaponized limbs slicing the air. "Human now!" Orethian shouted. She pressed a series of buttons, and a concentrated pulse of energy erupted from her device, striking the construct's core. It shattered with a sound like collapsing mountains. The remaining constructs faltered, their systems disrupted by the chain reaction. Orethian's fire consumed them, reducing them to molten fragments. The dust and debris settled, revealing the human, standing tall, hatchling cradled safely against her chest. "You were magnificent," Orethian said, his voice deep and resonant. "No species, no creature I've known, could have done what you did." She looked at him, blood and sweat streaking her face, eyes blazing. "It is not just me. It is all of us." Humanity survives because we fight when others flee, because we imagine what others cannot, because we endure when all seems lost. The hatchling stirred, tiny wings stretching toward the vast sky. Orethian lowered his head, allowing it to nuzzle against his snout. "You will not be a mere hatchling for long," he murmured. "And humanity, your species, has earned a place beside dragons, among the stars." She looked toward the horizon, where faint streaks of light moved in patterns unfamiliar to even Orethian. Alien fleets, ancient and deadly, were converging on Dracta Prime. "They are coming," she said quietly, but there was no fear in her tone. "And when they do, they will find humanity ready. They will find dragons and humans united. They will find a species that refuses to die quietly." Orethian extended his massive wings, catching the wind, lifting them higher. The stars stretched out before them, like an infinite battlefield. "You will teach my brood," he said, voice reverent. "They will learn your ingenuity, your courage, your resilience. They will carry it forward. And together, we will face the impossible." She smiled faintly, the weight of destiny heavy on her shoulders, but exhilarating. "Then let us begin," she said. "There is no challenge too great, no power too ancient. Humanity will rise every time, no matter what." The hatchling chirped, tiny wings flapping, a promise of growth and future strength. And as a human, the dragon emperor and the hatchling soared above the fissured planet, a silent truth echoed across the cosmos. The universe had underestimated humanity. It had underestimated their courage, their ingenuity, their unbreakable will. And that would be its greatest mistake. The vacuum of space stretched endlessly before them. Stars scattered like diamonds across an endless black sea. Orethian's wings adjusted in the near weightless void, shimmering against the starlight, each scale reflecting eons of ancient power. The human nurse clutched the hatchling, its tiny heartbeat pounding against her chest. "We cannot rest," she murmured. "There are threats waiting in the void that will devour entire worlds before dawn." Orethian circled, sensing the current of energy flowing between distant stars. "Your kind survives because you see patterns that others cannot, because you act when the universe expects hesitation. Show me your strength now." Suddenly, a shadow eclipsed the stars. A fleet of alien dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace, vessels the size of small moons, bristling with weapons that bent light and gravity alike. The nurse's eyes narrowed. "They underestimated us once. They will not underestimate us again." Orethian roared, a sound that reverberated even in the vacuum, felt rather than heard, sending tremors across the alien fleet. "Hold on," she shouted, activating her suit's thrusters. She synchronized with Orethian's wing beats, guiding him toward a narrow asteroid field. The alien fleet pursued relentlessly, beams of energy slicing through asteroids, melting rock into molten debris. "This will be a test," she said to the hatchling, voice steady. "Watch. Learn. Survive. Humanity thrives by turning impossible odds into opportunity." Orethian dipped and rose, weaving to the field with the precision of a predator who had stalked galaxies for millennia. The fleet faltered, their massive ships unable to navigate the debris as deftly. The nurse activated drones from her wrist, sending swarms into the heart of the fleet. They moved with uncanny coordination, targeting engines, weapon systems, and control arrays. "Your species is clever," Orethian said, eyes wide with admiration. "Even the oldest intelligence could not foresee this." The hatchling chirped, tiny wings flapping as if mirroring their audacity. Then from a command vessel of the fleet, a colossal alien commander emerged, an entity of dark crystal, its limbs fused with weapons that seemed alive, its eyes glowing with sentience older than stars. "You dare resist us," it thundered. "Mortals are insignificant. Dragons are extinct relics. You will die in the cold void." The nurse's hands moved over her devices at lightning speed, coordinating drones and Orethian's fire with precision. "Insignificant," she shouted. "We are humans. We adapt, we fight, we endure, and we never surrender." The battle erupted in a cascade of fire, energy, and debris. Drones darted through alien defenses, while Orethian unleashed torrents of emerald fire, tearing through hulls and armor. The nurse leapt into the void on a tether, planting destabilizers directly onto the alien command ship, the hatchling safely cradled in protective energy field. The alien commander lashed out with energy waves, yet she anticipated each strike, twisting and diving with the grace of a predator and the precision of a general. Orethian shielded her with massive wings, fire and force combining in a symphony of destruction. Finally, she inserted the final destabilizing nanite sequence into the alien command system. The ship shuddered violently, metal groaning, energy weapons tearing themselves apart. "Human," the alien hissed, its voice breaking as systems failed. "You should not exist." "And yet," she said, standing tall, hair floating in the zero-gravity void, eyes blazing with defiance. "Here we are, and we survive, because that is what humans do." The command ship imploded in a spectacular explosion, shards of dark crystal and energy raining into the void, illuminating the battlefield like fireworks across the stars. Orethian roared triumphantly, wings beating, carrying the nurse and hatchling higher, their silhouettes framed against the explosion. The hatchling stirred, tiny wings flapping, inspired by courage it could not yet comprehend. "You will fly one day," the nurse whispered, smiling despite exhaustion. "And when you do, the universe will tremble." Orethian circled, scanning the void. "The universe underestimates humans, yet I have learned differently. Your species is dangerous, ingenious, relentless." The nurse nodded. "And we are not alone anymore. Dragons, humans, even the smallest lives, we will rise together." Far in the distance, deep in uncharted space, ancient eyes glimmered on long-dormant civilizations. Systems that had slept for millennia now stirred, sensing the power of this alliance. A human, a hatchling dragon, and the Emperor himself. "They will come," Orethian said. "The galaxy remembers betrayal, and there are forces that will challenge us beyond comprehension." "And they will learn," she replied. "They will learn why humanity survives, why we endure, why we conquer the impossible." The hatchling nuzzled against her chest, tiny wings quivering. It sensed what the human knew. The universe would never be the same. Orethian's roar echoed to the void once more, announcing to the cosmos that the era of humans had begun, not as subject of fate, but as architects of destiny. "Prepare yourself," the nurse said, voice steady despite the infinite darkness around them. "The galaxy is vast, and the threats are endless. But humanity will rise." Orethian dipped and turned, massive wings cutting through the stars. "Then we will teach them. We will show them that courage, ingenuity, and willpower are weapons greater than any fire or claw." Together, they soared toward the uncharted regions of space, leaving trails of emerald fire and human determination in their wake. Somewhere, deep in the shadowed reaches of the galaxy, ancient forces paused. They had been warned. The human clenched her fists, feeling the pulse of destiny in her veins. "We will rise," she whispered, "and humanity, against all odds, would carve its legend into the stars." The hatchling stretched its tiny wings, the first flutters of what would one day become greatness. The universe would remember this alliance. A human nurse, a baby dragon, and the green dragon emperor, together reshaping the cosmos with courage, intellect, and the unbreakable spirit of life itself. The galaxy was vast, an infinite ocean of stars and darkness. Yet on the edge of a newborn star system, three figures carved their path across the void. Orethian, the green dragon emperor, his massive wings rippling with energy older than most civilizations, carried the human nurse and the hatchling through the starlit expanse. The hatchling had grown in leaps beyond what anyone could have imagined, its wings still delicate but strong, beat in rhythm with the pulse of its enormous companion. Its scales shimmered with an iridescence that reflected both the fire of the dragon and the brilliance of human ingenuity. The human nurse, battle-worn, her face marked with scars and streaked with sweat, looked down at the hatchling cradled in her arms. She smiled, a quiet expression of pride and determination. "You've come far," she whispered, voice soft yet full of strength. "And yet, your journey has only just begun." Orethian lowered his massive head, emerald eyes glowing in the starlight. "The universe has tested us in ways I never imagined," he rumbled. Ancient titans, fleets of alien warships, forces older than time itself. Yet humanity stood undaunted. I have seen courage, intellect, and resolve unlike anything in all my millennia. I am changed. The human nodded, feeling the weight of destiny settling heavier than ever, yet also the exhilarating surge of triumph. You change with every life you save, every challenge you overcome. That is what humans do. We endure, we adapt, and we rise above the impossible. Together, we are unstoppable. The hatchling chirped, tiny wings stretching in the cold void of space. It was a sound that carried hope, a fragile note that promised a future forged in courage. Suddenly, an alert flashed across the human's wrist device. A massive rift in space had opened ahead, pulsated with energy that defied comprehension. "This," Orethian said, voice low and serious, "is no ordinary anomaly. It is the final trial. The universe itself seeks to test our resolve." The human's heart raced, yet she did not falter. She tightened her grip on the hatchling. "We have faced ancient titans, entire fleets, powers beyond comprehension. This we will endure as well. Humanity survives where others fall." They approached the rift cautiously, the void around it shimmering with impossible colors, violet, teal, and crimson intertwining like molten glass. The energy from the rift pulsed, resonating deep within their bones. From the rift emerged beings of unimaginable form, shapes that defied logic, eyes and limbs appearing and vanishing in impossible patterns, voices that resonated across time and space. "You trespass," one of them intoned, a sound felt more than heard. Mortals should not walk among the powers of creation. The human stood tall, hatchling secure, her voice echoing to the vacuum of space with unwavering determination. "We do not trespass. We endure. We adapt. We fight. And we rise. That is what humanity does. We do not bow to fear. We do not yield to the impossible. We survive. Always." Orethian's roar joined hers, a symphony of fire and defiance. The hatchling flapped its wings with newfound courage, tiny sparks of emerald fire igniting from its mouth. The beings from the rift struck, warping reality around them, twisting space and time. Yet the human acted with precision, her mind moving faster than thought. She deployed drones, activated energy pulses, and coordinated Orethian's attacks with surgical accuracy. The battle raged for hours, or was it days? Time became meaningless in the face of such impossible adversaries. Yet humanity endured. The hatchling, inspired by both the human and Orethian, began to fight in its own way. Tiny bursts of fire, small but precise, destabilized the rift's energy currents. Each effort, however small, contributed to the larger strategy. Orethian circled, massive wings stirring the chaotic energy around them, directing its fury against the rift, channeling its ancient power into coordinated attacks with the human's ingenuity. Finally, a critical moment arrived. The rift pulsed violently, threatening to collapse the entire region of space. The human understood instinctively what must be done. She placed a hatchling on Orethian's neck and braced herself on his massive head. "We finish this together," she said. Orethian lowered his head, fire igniting deep within his throat, scales glowing like molten emerald. The hatchling, guided by human ingenuity and instinct, unleashed a coordinated pulse of energy, amplified by the human's devices. The rift trembled, shrieked, and then collapsed in a blinding explosion of light, scattering impossible colors across the void. Silence fell. The universe seemed to pause. The human exhaled, heart pounding. Orethian lowered his wings, massive talons digging into a nearby asteroid for stability. The hatchling chirped triumphantly, wings flapping, eyes gleaming with pride. Orethian turned to the human. "You have done what no dragon, no species, no power could achieve. You have triumphed against the impossible. You have changed the fate of the universe." The human smiled, weary but unbroken. "We all change each other, Orethian. Dragons, humans, even the smallest of lives. Together, we are stronger than any god, any ancient power, any impossible force the universe can throw at us." The hatchling nuzzled her chest, tiny wings wrapping around her. She looked at it, and then Adorethian. This is only the beginning. We will face new challenges, but humanity will rise, and we will carry hope to every corner of the cosmos. Nothing can stop us. Orethian's emerald eyes glimmered with pride and something deeper, an emotion even he had rarely felt. You are the spark that will ignite the stars. Your species, fragile yet unyielding, is proof that the universe must respect courage and ingenuity above all else. From the wreckage of the rift, fragments of alien fleets and ancient relics floated silently. The nurse extended her hand, touching a shard of impossible material. Every challenge, every obstacle we face, only makes us stronger. Humanity adapts. Humanity endures. Humanity conquers. Orethian's roar split the void, announcing their victory to the cosmos. Planets, distant stars, and unseen civilizations felt the power of that defiance. The hatchling flapped its wings again, higher this time, emboldened by its triumph. It was no longer fragile. It had inherited the courage of the human and the strength of the emperor. The human looked toward the horizon, distant galaxies gleaming with possibility. We will rise. Every time, we will face darkness, ancient powers, impossible odds. And we will prevail. That is what it means to be human. Orethian lowered his head, placing it gently near her shoulder. And I will stand beside you, every step, every battle. For I have seen what humans can do, and it has changed me. You are no longer mere mortals. You are the force that reshapes the universe. The hatchling chirped, wings stretching fully, flaring sparks of emerald fire across the void. The nurse smiled. Then let us soar, she said. The universe is vast, and there are countless challenges ahead. But humanity, dragons, and hope will endure. Always. They rose together, human dragon and hatchling, ascending above the remnants of the rift. Stars stretched into infinite trails. Nebulae swirled with color, and the void of space became a stage for legends yet to be written. The galaxy had witnessed a truth it could not ignore. Humans were more than fragile flesh. Humans were cunning, courageous, relentless, and unyielding. Humans could face ancient titans, impossible odds, and unimaginable powers, and survive. And the Green Dragon Emperor, who had ruled the skies for millennia, had learned what no dragon had ever known. The smallest, weakest beings could inspire courage that could shake galaxies. The hatchling flapped higher, the first true flight of a new generation. The nurse held her ground, proud, exhausted, yet unbroken. Orethian soared alongside them, majestic and eternal, a guardian and ally. They had faced annihilation, confronted forces older than time, and emerged triumphant. The universe had changed. The galaxy had changed, and humanity's legend had been etched into the stars. Orethian roared one final time, a sound of victory and reverence, carrying across the cosmic void. The human whispered softly, almost to herself, "We are the impossible. We endure. We rise. And we will never be forgotten." The hatchling, now strong and determined, soared beside them, tiny sparks of fire trailing behind like stars being born. And together, they disappeared into the infinite cosmos, a trio of life and hope, courage and ingenuity, humanity and dragonkind united. For in the end, it was not power alone that triumphed. It was will. It was courage. It was the unbreakable, undying spirit of humanity. And the stars themselves would remember the legend of the human nurse, the Green Dragon Emperor, and the hatchling who would one day command the skies would echo through the universe forever. Because humanity had proven, once and for all, that even in a galaxy of gods, monsters, and ancient powers, no one, no force, no species could deny their rise. And so, the journey of survival, courage, and hope continued, stretching into eternity, leaving the cosmos forever changed. The impossible had been conquered, and humanity would rise again.